Our generation are the first and the last generation to know about the severity of the climate crisis and be able to turn it around. Top climate scientists in the world, people like James Hansen, who's a professor at NASA and probably the world's leading climate scientist, say that we've got less than 100 months for global emissions of carbon dioxide, the main gas that causes climate change, to peak and then begin to come down again. The problem is they're going up and up and up, and the governments of the world aren't acting, and so people like us have to. Humanity's never faced anything like this before. Millions of people right around the world suffering from the brunt of climate change. Christian Aid, for example, say that 182 million people could die in Africa this century alone because of the impacts of climate change. I mean, the scientists have been documenting how the Earth is already changing. I mean, take Arctic sea ice. They said that it could disappear by 2100, and then they said 2050, and now they're saying by 2013 there could be no Arctic sea ice. And can you imagine a picture of the Earth taken from space, like that one they took from the Apollo, but no Arctic sea ice? The Earth would look transformed. And we did that. The science dictates that we don't have long, but the scientists say that we can still turn this around. We're mobilising, we're organising, we've got the internet. Now is the time to be taking action. We can turn it around if we act now. If you look at the start of the Clinton-Obama campaign, it was young people turning out in unprecedented numbers that got Obama on the ticket and got Obama in the White House. Our generation is starting to organise. You have young people breaking into airports, sitting on runways, shutting down coal-fired power stations, lobbying their members of parliament. But at the moment, there just isn't enough pressure. We've got less than 100 days before world governments meet in Copenhagen and bash out a global agreement. But what they're talking about is nothing like what the scientists say we need. So we have to apply pressure now. Now is the critical time. The climate crisis is so overwhelming sometimes that you can feel completely disempowered. But history shows that we have to act together and not alone if we're going to bring about the scale of the change that's required. What we're seeing is the birth of a new social movement, and all throughout history it's social movements that have caused change. Think about the suffragettes getting votes and equality for women. Think about the civil rights movement in the US. Think Rosa Parks sitting on the front of a bus. We need a movement like that now, and that's starting to emerge. You've got groups like Plain Stupid, like the Camp for Climate Action, like Greenpeace, and now BeThatChange, that are using the internet, something that they didn't have in previous movements, to cause massive change in a very short period of time. But it's happening. And now our generation has to confront our generation's problem, the climate crisis. Inaction is the greatest threat. Doing nothing is going to be what lets the climate crisis unfold. We only have a short period of time, but we can be that change.